Welcome to Dynamic Foundry Group. Today we are going to see a small video on business plan. We all know the business plan is very important in any industry to forecast and plan their business for coming years. So why business plan is so important? Every business need to forecast their future plans. This will help to review their to business performance plan versus actual. Also, it helps them to plan any resources required if anything required. So, resource management, resource planning is important in making of business plan. Such type of business plan helps organization to set proper goals to the team. It is responsibility of top management to set goals through business planning. There may be two different way of making business plan. One is short-term business planning, one is long-term business planning. Short-term business planning is mainly for 1 year, preferably for next year. So I am doing this webinar or this video or this presentation in the month of December so that you can plan it in next 3 months, that is January, February, and March, for the next year, that is April 2021 to March 2022. So that is why I'm doing this particular video or presentation in the month of December. So this is a short-term business planning, mainly for 1 year, preferably for the next year. Long-term business planning is one other business plan where you have to plan it for next 5 years. So you have to understand where you should be after 5 years, where you want yourself to see after or in next 5 years, where you want to see yourself. Most of the time, long-term business planning is about adding to your existing product mix. Value addition is very important in business planning. Adding some more product lines or about diversification of the business is mostly considered in long-term business planning. For example, you are making cast iron products. In your next 5 years, you can plan or you can project you will be supplying machine parts. So you will be diversification your as cast business to machined business. Also, if you are doing cast iron, you can think of doing ductile iron in next 5 years. So you can add some value to your products. This is about diversification of product mix of business as well. Changing product mix is one of the most important factor in the long-term business planning. For example, you are doing flywheel at present in gray cast iron. You can think of doing better casting like hubs, differential housing, manifolds, etc., with some value addition to the business and to the contribution and to the profit as well. Also, one can think of changing business scope directly from foundry to some other business based on their capabilities as well. So that is why the business planning is so important. You can think of diversification, you can think of changing your product mix, you can think of changing one product mix to another product mix, you can think of adding value to your products. So all these things you can think when you are going for the business plan. So this is tentatively how business plan is been made. This is a slide where you can see business plan, consider it of slot analysis, timeline, strategy, team, competitors, finance, marketing plan, mission. All these things are the we can say uh, important thing in making a business plan. All these things has to be considered while making business plan. So steps in setup of business plan. How to set up a business plan? First is SWOT analysis. You have to do a SWOT analysis. Then understanding capability of each process. Then understanding the bottleneck process. Then plan required resources for the bottleneck process. Then study last 3 years production, sales, and breakdown data. This is very important stage. Understand the product mix. You have to understand what exactly product mix you have right now and where you want to go next year and after 5 years. So then next is a plan month-wise production, sales, considering the expected product mix and breakdown data, then club the data to arrive overall business plan. These are the simple steps which you can follow while set up the business plan. We are going to see one example in coming slides so that you can understand these steps properly or in detail as well. So again, another slide showing the important, you can say, aspects of business plan, the goals, analysis, data analysis is very important factor. Then you can see competitor, team, marketing, SWOT analysis, success, mission, finance, product description, timeline. So all these are important factors or important things which you have to consider while making business plan. So while arriving business plan, you have to take in consideration past data analysis, customer feedback, direct interaction or information from the customer, forecast given by the customer, marketing or overall market survey or marketing survey, your customer satisfaction survey as is well is very important. Customer feedback is very important. So all these things you have to take in consideration while going for your business plan. While arriving business plan, you have to think of competitor performance with respect to QC, that is quality, cost, and delivery. It is very important. It will guide you where you are lacking behind, what are where you can really need to improve yourself to get better than your competitor. What is your mission? Next 5 years, where do you want to be there? Goal for next 3 years. After 3 years, where you want yourself to be stand up. So possibility of adding value additional to existing portfolio of your business. Teamwork is important. Marketing strategy, how you are to define your marketing strategy, because you are going for a business plan, you are going for may have to go for expansion, then you have to understand what will be your marketing strategy. So you have to work on that as well. And resource availability is another important factor. You have to work on these factors to arrive the business planning. Now we go to step by step. Well, first step, as we see earlier, is a SWOT analysis, that is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. This would help organization to understand their strength and weakness, which help them to know area of the improvement and the opportunity to achieve. Though the strength and the weaknesses, once you understand, you can understand where you can improve, what are the opportunities you have in the business for next year and for next 5 years as well. And this will help you to give idea about what is going to be, what resources is required to improve your further business activities. So here organization can understand what type of castings they can produce, or what kind of, what is their core strength. All these things will help you in understanding your present portfolio of business and where you want to improve. So you can plan the resources in that way. Capacity of each process. You have to understand the capacity of each process. In Foundry, normally you have following process which are important, uh, for which you have to understand your actual capacity, like melting is there, molding is there, core shop is there, fettling, painting, machining if you provide machining parts. So you have to understand each process, their capacities. One has to understand the bottleneck. So understanding bottleneck is very important in business plan, because you have to overcome bottleneck if you want to achieve that business plan. So understanding of bottleneck is very important. One has to understand the bottleneck of foundry from all processes to see part move smoothly right from purchase to customer sales. Example, melting, you have two pots of 500 kg, so around 600 ton of good casting is available there. So you have capacity of 600 ton of good casting available with your melting. But in molding, you have only one alpha 450 line with about bunch weight of 40 kg, around 600 boxes per day with 65% yield, 24 ton of liquid metal, that is 16 ton of good casting per day. So considering 25 day, you can have maximum of 400 ton of good casting molding capacity available per month with you, whereas you have 600 ton melting capacity. So you would have a backlog, a short capacity of 200 ton of molding. So to achieve 600 ton of good casting, you have a bottleneck of your molding capacity. So you have to overcome this bottleneck. Then core shop, in-house and outsource. Here you can make your in-house capacity available, and then you have to outsource other activities or other material in core shop as well as in fettling shop. I'm considering here that core shop and fettling shop can be outsourced. Hence, I'm not considering here, I have not mentioned here capacities, but you can check your capacity and you can understand how much outsourcing you require, how much vendors you require, and you have to develop those vendors to overcome this bottleneck as well. So here the bottleneck is molding. So one has to add molding machine to remove this bottleneck and to utilize full capacity of melting furnace of 600 ton of good casting per month. Also, one has to ensure enough vendors available for core shop and fettling shop and machining to take care of required capacity. So I already mentioned it here. Next thing is last 3 years average production was 240 ton, 285 ton, and 325 ton. So understanding last 3 years performance very important. How much was last 3 years production? How much was last 3 years sales? How much was last 3 years breakdown of maintenance? And you can say what are the bottlenecks in reducing the production. So you have to understand those and overcome those issues to achieve the goal. So now if management wants to increase or improve the productivity, what they need to improve the productivity in molding, especially because the bottleneck is molding. So they can add a molding machine as a new resource and they can increase the productivity of molding and match up with the melting capacity. So this is how you have to understand or analyze the data last 3 years or 4 years, and then you can arrive to your resource planning. So it's very important. It is very important to know what is your average breakdown percentage. Knowing the breakdown equipment wise is important because it will help you to remove individual bottleneck of equipment. For example, there is a molding machine with a breakdown of 25% due to some issues. You can really put your hands down in the molding because with 25% of breakdown, your capacity directly go down to 25%. So you have to work more on that particular machine where the breakdown is 25%. So it has you have to improve your spare availability. You have to go for some important aspect in preventive maintenance of that particular machine, or if any real problem is there, you have to change that machine as well if required. So it's very important to understand equipment wide breakdown, and by knowing breakdown equipment wise will help us to plan equipment wise preventive planning of maintenance, and also to keep required essential critical spares to avoid these breakdowns frequently and to avoid production loss. This is very important. Then knowing your product mix is very another important factor. You have to understand what is your exact product mix in last 3 years, which product have been consistent, which product are not consistent, which product are increasing their productivity and increasing their demand, which products are going down. So you have to understand the product mix so that you can plan your month-wise production or month-wise performance in a proper way. So it will help you to give some trends and movement of parts customer-wise and sector-wise as well. So diversification of sector is another important factor. You can understanding the product mix, the movement, you can really think of whether you can go for sector wise diversification. It is important to have your product mix sector wise. Also important to know sale value and the part wise contribution. This will help you to select most profitable and most uh, contributing parts to get better overall contribution or profit to you to your business. So it is very important. Actual business plan working, how to make a business plan. Now you are already gone through the steps. Now you are going to see how the business plan can be made. You have to plan your monthly production sales to have overall business plan. While working, you need to first is production liquid metal per month, then you have to add yield to that, then you will get production good casting per month, then you have to arrive the sale value, expected sale value or average sale value you are getting right now per kg, and then you will get a total sale per month in rupees. And then you have, while doing all this calculation, you have to consider the average breakdown percentage what you have already faced last 3 years or 2 years or last year, whatever you are following. So these are the important parameters you have to consider while making a business plan. So it is an example here. You can see the months April 21 to March 22. You can see the liquid metal I have right. Then you can get a good casting by adding the yield percentage. Then you have to use the rejection percent also need to be considered. I have not mentioned it here, but rejection percentage while making a sale value, you have to consider rejection percentage as well. So by considering the rejection percent, you can get sale value by adding multiplying good casting into average sale value into percentage of okay casting. So okay casting percentage only you can be sold. So rejection casting has to be reduced, or uh, you can say taken away from the sale value. So this is how the overall business plan can be made. Here you can see production tonnage is 9,000 ton per month. That is liquid metal 5,940 ton good casting. Sale value 34.7 crore. Average sale value I have considered 65 rupees per kg. Breakdown percent I have considered 10%. November 21, you can see the business plan where the initially 550 tons of for the first quarter, where we are just trying to build up resources. Then from July, I have launched up the molding machine, and then I have gradually increasing the production. July, I have made 700 tons. August again 700 tons. September, you can utilize the full capacity of machine 800 tons. October, another you can say fine tuning, making it to 900 tons. November, I have considered Diwali 1 week holiday, so I have considered less production, about 150 tons low production. December again, it is ramping up to 900 tons. January 900 tons. For February, as we have 28 days, I have also considered less production, and March again 900 tons. So this kind of things you have to understand where you have a bottleneck months are there. You have to reduce the rejection, or reduce the production, or you have to understand what exactly will be planning yourself in that particular month. So these are very important factors you have to consider while making a business plan. So resources required. Now you have to this business plan available with you. So one has to go for new molding machine to achieve this business plan, because shifting from 550 to 700, 800 tons, and then 900 tons need a molding machine, because you have bottleneck of molding capacity. So you have to add a molding machine. So also to cope up someone has to add molding machine along with molding boxes, pallets, compressor. Also see you have to see the capacity of compressor is available or not. You have to see whether the sand plant capacity is enough or not. You have to see mixer capacity, sand cooler capacity. So all these things has to be considered, and then you have to finally do your